All right, today just gonna kind of work on fixing can't talk again today. Today I'm gonna work on finishing up some odds and ends. This being one of them. I want to get this serviced and then gotta go up and get the nurse tank and pull it down here and get a list of what I need to finish it up, run to town, get the stuff, and come back and get the nurse tank finished up. I should just need some plugs, some pipe to make a breather, and the hoses and valves to put the hoses on, because everything else should be pretty much done. And I'm going to put a strainer on it on the fill side, so that, or on the hose going for filling the planter and the sprayer. That way we got some sort of filtration on it. But anyway, obviously I'm going to service this thing down here in the barn. That way I don't got to take the muffler off to get it in the shop. I just had it running for a little bit to move the oil. Well, obviously I had to get it out and turn it around so I could work on it. I'm not necessarily a avid believer that the oil has to be hot when you drop it, but I do think that it's nice to run it for at least a few minutes to get all the nasties that have settled out back suspended in the oil, so that when you drain the oil, all the crap comes out with it. So, but it probably ran for about 10 minutes because I had to get it out, and I got the T out and put fuel in it because it was about out, and topped out the hydraulic oil after filling those planter cylinders yesterday. So yeah, that's basically where we're at. So I think I grabbed all the wrenches I need, and shouldn't really take that long. I just got to put the oil in it, or drop the oil and put fuel filters on it, change the air cleaner oil, and check the 3-speed and the hydraulic oil, and she should be good to go. So where can I set yous? That seems reasonable. Ooh. Rags, we're gonna want rags. Definitely gonna want rags. Okay, now for the messy part. Okay, here we go. If you're fast, it ain't so bad. But still, on their part, it was kind of, they really screwed the pooch on this filter housing, and they carried that screwed pooch all the way through till the end. If they'd just went right in here somewhere and put in a little hole and put a little piece of pipe with a plug on it so you could drain that filter housing, Ah, well. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? So at least on the fuel filter, they were smart enough. You could drain the canister before you take the filter off. You take that little screw out, and that opens up the bleeder hole, and then you crack this little valve loose down here, and it drains all fuel out. This tractor actually has a Fram fuel filtration system on it from back when Fram was actually a good name. Now it's garbage. But the decent filter manufacturers are getting fewer and further between, because Wix got bought out last year by a German company, and they ruined Wix filters. And when Wix filters are junk, that means Napa filters are junk, because Napa filters are made by Wix. It's a company that bought, I can't remember the name. It says on the, you get a Wix filter now, it says the name of the company on the bottom. But basically all they are, they're not even a manufacturer. They just buy names, or buy companies for the names, and then farm the manufacturing out to the lowest bidder. So you're not even getting Wix filters anymore. You're getting whatever the hell they could buy the cheapest and throw in a Wix box. So Wix and Napa are now junk. AC Delco's been junk for a while. Come on there. What are you hung up on? There we go. We started running Baldwin filters years ago. Well, I just found out last night that Baldwin has decided to move, for some freaking mind-boggling reason. I really want to know. I really want to know what the hell their theory was behind this move, especially after how things have been going the last 2 years. Baldwin decided to move more of their manufacturing overseas, specifically to China, apparently. So your options for decent filters are getting fewer and further between. I don't know if Fleet Guard used to be decent. I don't know if they still are or not. But I guess I'm gonna have to start looking once I just bought a bunch of Baldwins to stock up. So I guess once I start burning through that stock, I think I bought enough to do 2 years worth of changes. But I guess once I get burnt through all that, I'm gonna have to start looking for a new source for filters again, because Napa and Wix are out, and Baldwin, if they're gonna do that shit, is out. I'm half tempted to call up to Deere and see if they can see how many of these filters they can cross. I doubt they can do this filter, or because these fuel filters are on for this tractor are AGCO only parts. Even Baldwin couldn't cross them. But I'm half tempted because John Deere has a contract with Donaldson, and all of John Deere's filters are made by Donaldson. So I'm half tempted to see how many of our filters cross over to a John Deere part number, because I've already decided that I'm done buying shit batteries, and I'm going to start buying John Deere strong boxes, because that's what this thing, it needed a set of batteries last fall, or was it last summer or last fall. I had to put a set of batteries in this thing, and I can't remember the group number. It takes a goofy group number battery, and we couldn't find them anywhere. Called up to John Deere, they had 2 on the shelf. And John Deere strong boxes, last I knew, were made by, pretty sure they're made by Deca, so they're good batteries. And John Deere batteries are even supposed to be even on the higher end of Deca's battery line, so they're more pricey. But hell, I had my buddy Matt bought a John Deere 6600 that had an 11-year-old John Deere strong box in it, and last I knew that battery was still going when he sold the combine last year, and he owned that combine. It was an 11-year-old battery when he bought it, and I think he ran, how long did he run that combine? He bought that combine my senior year of college, and he just sold it last year. So he owned that combine 7-8 years, and that battery was still in it. So I mean, if you can get that kind of battery life out of something. But as much as I don't like John Deere, if it comes to the point where that's where you got to go to get decent filters and decent batteries and, you know, decent shit, so be it. At least that way. And I would do, I'm hung on going to all Agco stuff, because like this filter right here, made in Venezuela. I mean, it's better than being made in China, but I don't know. It's stupid. This country's selling its soul out one piece at a time, and it seems to be happening at an accelerated rate. I had to go get an oil can so I can oil that gasket and put this filter back on. Alright, both fuel filters are changed, fuel's primed back up. I changed the oil in the air filter, so that's good to go. I looked, and we are at about we are just a tick under a 250 hour mark on 2-speed filter, so I figured I probably ought to get this changed. This should be drained down. Should. It's chugging a little bit. Let her sit there for a second. But back onto the whole this country selling its soul thing. I talk like this is the only country doing it, and it's not just us, it's the entire Western world. Like, look at Great Britain, for instance. They went through their industrial revolution before we did. And they're even worse off than we are as far as their industrial capacity anymore. At least from what I've been able to gather from the little bit of, I mean, most of what I see about Great Britain I watch on YouTube, because I don't even know what really got me into it. I just, like, most of what I watch as far as like farming and stuff goes is from other countries, because I mean, I know what our farming is like here. I see it every day. But it's just interesting to see how things are done around the world. But I watch a lot of stuff from Britain just because it's different, and they got, well, it's different but it's similar because they run a lot of the same equipment that we do, even back in like the 50s and 60s. I mean, they were running Ford and IH and Deere, and it was just different models because it was you know, tailored for their way of farming. So it's just interesting to see. And I love British steam. Don't get me wrong, I love American steam too, but where our stuff was built for brute force and horsepower, their stuff was built to look good. So like their steam trains, their steam engines, their steam lorries or steam trucks, whatever we would call them, steam truck, they call them steam lorries. There's a bunch of cool shit over there. Two things on my bucket list. I want to make it over to Britain to see the Great Dorset Steam Fair at least once in my life, just because it looks like a really cool show. And I want to make it to the Tank Museum in Bovington, because I love armor. Two things on my bucket list I want to do one of these days. Come on, drain down. But yeah, like, And, you know, you never really think of Great Britain just because of its size being an industrial powerhouse, but like for a while I was on this kick of watching, hold on, I want to get his name right because he seems to be a British treasure. I haven't actually watched any of the videos in a while. Bear with me. Fred Dibna. For a while I was on a kick of watching a bunch of his videos because apparently back in like the 70s and 80s is what it appeared to me, he had a British TV show about steeplejacking, which I never even knew what it was until I started watching those, and I don't even know how I started watching it. It just showed up in my recommended one day, and I was like, damn, this is a crazy son of a bitch. And I just started chain watching a bunch of the videos, and it was really cool. If you're not from Britain and you haven't ever watched any Fred Dibna videos, get on the YouTube, stop this right now, and start watching Fred Dibna steeplejack videos, because it's cool. The guy's nuts. He was batshit freaking crazy. But, basically, you know, I was watching all these videos because he was doing a bunch of demolition work on, I guess it'd be, I'm not up on my British history, but I guess it would have been considered in their timeline like Victorian era industrial complexes, like steam powered industrial complexes. And it's like, damn, Britain used to have one hell of an industrial capacity, and now it just seems like they don't have shit. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe my British guys know. Maybe they manufacture more than what I think, but it just seems like nothing is made in Britain anymore compared to, you know, back then. It seems like they sold themselves out way before we sold ourselves out, and it's just, yeah. But I don't know. It's like it's like at some point the entire Western world just threw their hands up in the air and said, "Fuck it, we don't need to be number one anymore. We're just gonna let the rest of the world surpass us, and it could never have any negative repercussions." But I'm a firm believer that this was all part of a plan that got set in motion a long time ago. But what the hell? Maybe I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this because YouTube might flag it as misinformation. Alright, there's that. So, now I'll dump some oil in it. Actually, I'm going to check the hydraulic oil first, and I'll fill the crankcase up. I don't think we have any. I need to get some ATF today when I run into town after I check this, because now that I remember, last time I went to go get it, I couldn't find any because, you know, COVID supply chain issues, oil and stuff like that is hard to find. So hopefully I can come up with some ATF today because we need it, because I remember I need some for the 1600 too. Nope, take that back. I found a quart and I was able to top the 1600 off, but I guarantee, especially after changing that filter, this is going to need some. So, but all right, everything should be squared away, so we'll give her the old test fire. Make sure we got no leakies. I do gotta oil the chain coupler, I gotta get that. But that's actually better done not running, because if you do it while it's running, all it does is sling the oil back off. If you do it while it's sitting, it'll actually run down through the chain and actually soak in like you want it to. let her sit for a minute and recheck everything. And I know it's going to need ATF because it was about half a quart low before I changed the filter, and now that I changed that filter, it's probably a full quart low, and we ain't got none. So, but I'll finish checking this thing over and clean up my oil slick, and then we'll go up and grab the nurse tank with it. All right, I gotta move the fertilizer spreader here because it was parked about up here, and all that wind that we had not too long ago pushed it back about 5 feet. And now it's setting up against the front of the nurse tank. Guess I could have took that hydraulic top link off of here too, but I don't know if Dad's done grading the driveway yet or not. Yeah. Probably help pick the jack up, eh? Need to find a better spot to park this because I think tomorrow after work I'm going to take the 16 and the grapple down and see if I can clean that tree up down on the muck without getting stuck. I need to be able to hook onto the... Where can I park this? God, I can't wait for my barn to be up so we can get all this shit out of here. Combine will be gone, all this stuff will be gone, all that stuff will be gone. Have some parking spots again. I guess for now I can pull it up. Park it here in front of the 105. Not like we're gonna be moving that or the corn head anytime soon. Will be gone too because combines are over at my house now. It won't make any sense to leave the heads over here, so I'm probably gonna haul in some stone to put behind the barn where the lean-tos are gonna be eventually, and so I can park stuff there and not have to mow around it. Supposed to start on that this next week, but with all the rain we had this week, I don't know if they'll be able to, because I don't know if they'll be able to be drilling any holes and shit as wet as it is, but I don't know. I was supposed to get a call this last week and never did. once again, I had to go to 2 different places to find all the crap I need because, you know, we can't, you know, stock shit anymore. But I got hopefully everything to finish this up, and I found jug ATF so we can top off the 2-speed in the 1800. I did make one change. This has got to come out because I got stuff to put a strainer basket right here so that we got some sort of filtration in between this and the planter. So yeah, should go together pretty quick. All right, we're all plumbed in. The last thing I gotta do is make a way to store the fill hose, this guy. And looking at my options, I'm thinking the best thing to do and the easiest thing to do is just gonna be to make some hooks. Actually, that's gonna be easier yet. I was gonna make some hooks that use this bolt and wire on the straps, but I got extra holes here and then I wouldn't have to use the strap bolt. So if I just make some hooks that hook or that bolt to these holes and just kind of come out and make a you know, kind of, and then put one here, here, and here, and possibly, I don't know if I probably ought to put one here. And then I can, when I'm not using the hose, I can just bring it around and lay it in there. And then I got a plug to put in the end of the hose. That way you're not getting shit in there. And I got plugs to put on the planter too, because you don't want, while you're planting, you don't want dirt and shit to be laying inside those valves. And then when you go to fill it, you push dirt into the planter. So, but I think that's gonna be the simplest thing to do. Is just gonna be to bend up some little, come out like A-far and put a wrench in them and just lay it right along the side there. Let's do a little blacksmithing, shall we? Give it a little love tap. There we go. It actually worked out pretty slick. The hose is just long enough. And if I put this hook here, you kind of got to pull the hose forward and pick it up. So it kind of, it's like, for all intents and purposes, locked in there so it can't jump out. So that worked out pretty good. But that's a good place to carry it. It's up out of the way. Can't get caught on anything. So I guess with that, might as well dump a little bit of water in it and see if we can make anything happen. See if that, hopefully, I hope that motor's got enough ass to run it. All right, I came down here to the field. That way I'm not dumping a bunch of water down at the house. We'll just run it off into the ditch since it's only water. Get my plug out of here. I have to make some, or get a chain or something so I can chain that thing to the, so that I can chain it to the tank so it doesn't walk off. You know what? I'm just gonna leave that hooked up. Yeah, screw it. I'll unhook it. I'm gonna end up having to do something a little different here because you can't keep that. It's gonna do this. But for now, I just need it to work, and we'll worry about fixing any isms it might have later. And we'll crack that just a little so we got some back pressure on it so we can see how well this pump's gonna run. Get my rope. I forgot when I was at the store when I was in town to grab some smaller rope so that I can make a pull rope for this thing. Should be good. Well, why did it run out of juice? Building pressure. There was an air bubble in the strainer and it wasn't letting it do its thing. But it looks like I got a leak here that I gotta take care of, and I got a leak here I gotta take care of. But it looks like that motor's gonna run that pump just fine, because I mean, I got it building pressure. Well, I'd say we're pretty much there. Whatever they were hauling in this, it had sand in it because I cleaned the strainer out and the strainer was full of like beach sand. So I don't know if they were using it as like a reclaim tank on a well drilling rig or whatever they were doing, but they had sand in it. So, but anyway, got to take care of a couple leakers. I'm gonna try using this stuff instead of Teflon tape. Basically, this is just a liquid version of Teflon tape. It's supposed to be plastic safe because Loctite 565, I think, is a normal pipe dope we use. That stuff will eat plastic, so can't use that. But Dad said this stuff should work. But it's slow dry, so I'd have to clean everything up, put this on, put it back together, and let it set. So and then now that I've run it some, I got to change the oil in the motor, so we still got to do that. But other than that, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Probably gonna run some more water through it, see if I can flush some more of that sand out, because I mean it was that whole strainer basket, it's a basket about 1.5 inches in diameter, the full length of that housing, and it was full. So, which probably explains why that motor was getting to the point where it was having a hard time pushing water, because it was getting to the point where it didn't have a hole to push water through. But anyway, dinner's ready, and after that I gotta go finish mowing my yard. So I think we're gonna call this project done for the day. So I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.